And welcome to another episode of Fifty Shades and Grey. Thank you for joining me. So today we're going to talk about, because it's that time of year, getting to the holiday season, and I thought I would get my Ibiza expert to give us a rundown on the White Isle and where to go, what to do, what to avoid, and give you the best chance of having the best 3 or 4 days, because that's probably about the most you're going to get out in Ibiza, actually, that you can have. So welcome, Martin Makepeace. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Hi, Elliot. How are you, mate? Good to see you.
Yeah, very good to see you as well, mate. So, like I was saying, this year, going to Ibiza, I just wanted to run through with you, mate, because I know from my first experience out there with you, I literally just jumped on your coattails and just followed you, mate. So I didn't really know what I was doing, where I was going, or what to do. So it was lovely, but there was no thinking involved for me. What we did talk about, and I noticed last time we was out there, we spoke about that there seems to be an older crowd now going back to Ibiza. Is that been a sort of a current trend?
Yeah, I think if you're looking for a kind of stylish destination where it is age appropriate, I don't think there's anywhere better than Ibiza. Obviously, there's other destinations, which is like, I was in Benidorm last week, by the way, which is really good age appropriate, but it's a different flavour. I think if you're looking for stylish and you're looking for cool, then Ibiza ticks all the boxes and it's very age appropriate. Listen, we're both in our mid-50s and, I couldn't think of anywhere better in the world for us to be than Ibiza for a few days break.
Okay, mate. So if you like heading out to Ibiza, first of all, obviously everyone's on different budgets, and I know Ibiza is, you can spend fortunes in Ibiza and get fantastic quality and hotels, but there's also different budgets for other people that want to go there. So saying first of all, if where would you stay for sort of like a top, middle, bottom? If you were going all out, money was no object, where would you stay in Ibiza?
Well, I mean, as you said, it's for all budgets. I mean, even you bought me around when you were in Ibiza, so I mean, even you could afford a round of drinks. So
I don't
it
think I
was.
did. I think I think I was gifted that.
But if you're looking for all-out luxury, there's several places. I mean, what's happened over the last, say, 10 years is there's been a massive proliferation of 4 and 5-star hotels. So there's a place right in the north called Six Senses. Okay, Six Senses, right in the north. Not really my area. It's up in Portonax, but it's absolutely wonderful. Over €1,000 a night, easily. There's another place called the Me Ibiza, which is in Santa Eulalia. Again, a genuine 5-star hotel, leading hotel of the world. Probably €400-500 low season, maybe €600 or €700 a night peak season. So they're 2 of the actual hotels I recommend. Also, remember the place that we went to opposite where I live, Amare? Yeah, with the
I
rooftop,
really like that.
the
Yeah.
rooftop. Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool place. I wouldn't say it's all out luxury, but maybe €250-300 a night. It's quite a special place, 4-star, amazing views, sunset views as well. So there's 2 or 3 examples of decent places. But realistically, there's a lot of expensive places here on the island, mate. Lots.
Really.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
if you're
villas.
looking at,
I mean, sorry, Al, to cut in, but villas, for instance, if you in the old days, you used to pick up villas cheaply. Now, a friend of mine's got a villa where Lionel Messi stayed, and he paid in excess of €100,000 a week to stay there as well. So it just gives you an idea.
no wonder you're doing villas in Ibiza, mate. So if you were like mid-range then, mate, if you were looking at a good quality, because no one wants to go to, even if you're on a budget, you still don't want to go to like a cockroach hotel, do you? But
No,
so if you're
I
looking
mean,
for
really,
really good
I
value
think
in your money, where would you stay?
mid-range is where it's at, I think, really for the general public, because as you said, you don't want to go bargain basement and you can't really afford top end. Not many people can afford €1,000 a night. So, you're looking at your 3 and 4 stars for a good stay. There's a great place in San Antonio called the Grand Sol, 3-star, ticks all the boxes. 100 and something a night. A mate of mine's got a hotel in San Antonio where I've got a bit of a corporate thing happening this week as well. That's €100 a night. So that's for a room for 2. So low season, £50 per person per night. Probably budget area, but a mid-range, you've got the 4-star hotels in Playa d'Embossa, which are really good values. Hard Rock Hotel in Bossa is really popular. That's probably top end with Ushuaia, but they do offers low season, so keep an eye out for that. But there really is a plethora of mid-range hotels, and I think for about if you want to spend €100 per person per night, you'll get a fantastic hotel in Ibiza.
Okay, so moving on, best beaches, because this is the one thing, when I go away, I do love a beach. So why are you laughing?
Because I know you love a beach, mate. Because you talk about it all the
So
time. Let's go to the beach. Come on. I hate beaches,
go to
by
the
the way,
beach,
just to
let's
let you
go
know. Yeah, I'm a swimming pool and speedboat person, as you know, Elliot.
I know. So where would you go, like the sort of the top beaches? Because I know we didn't get around the island as much probably. And I know you were saying there were lovely parts to the island that we didn't go to as well. But what are the sort of the three sort of or two top beaches that you would go to?
Well, I'm going to give you 3 beaches, El, right? First and foremost, I'm going to give you Calaconta, which is, we didn't go there, we didn't manage to get there, but it's an absolutely wonderful beach on the west coast. It's got 2 or 3 fantastic restaurants on white sandy beach. It's just a knockout place to go, Calaconta. Locals call it Escomte or Descomte, but we know it as Calaconta. Second, I'm going to go with the beach that me and you went to, which was Calabasa. Yeah, remember we went to Calabasa Beach Club for lunch. Just a big white sandy beach. It's like a crescent shaped. It's just old school, cool. It's got a fantastic beach club on it called Calabasa Beach Club, CBBC, and just a really smart, nice place to go. Listen, you can just go, put your towel down, you can have a sandwich. It can be really cheap and cheerful, or you can go to the beach club and have a nice, expensive lunch. So the choice is there. And thirdly, I'm going to say Formentera, because I know it's not technically Ibiza, it's our sister island, but regularly voted as the best beach in the world, or in the top 10 best beaches in the world. Formentera Beach down there is just amazing, mate. So it's only a 30-minute ferry ride over there. It's just Espalmador, it's called the beach. It's just an amazing beach. And when you come next time, that's what we'll do, mate, for sure.
So when you're saying about travelling around, what's the best way to travel for you in Ibiza? Because we were lucky enough, obviously, you drove us everywhere. You were great. But for other people that are coming out of a hotel, I know obviously you've got Ubers, I guess, over there now, or taxis.
Yeah, you have, but Uber's actually more expensive than taxis over here because it's more personalised service. It's more private driver service. So public transport in Ibiza is probably a very challenging thing to do. The problem is because Ibiza is such a small island, there's a lot of different places, a lot of different villages and towns. So the bus service only usually goes to the main towns. So if you want to go, for instance, Ibiza to Santa Eulalia, or Santa Eulalia to Ibiza, Ibiza to San Antonio to Ibiza town, no problem at all. But if you want to go to these little coves and little beaches, then often you're going to have to get a taxi or rent a car or rent a scooter. Yeah, I've got a scooter. I use my scooter all the time in the summer because the traffic's so bad, as you imagine, on a small island. So first and foremost, I would say, if it's low season, rent a car because you can get decent deals. If it's peak season, think about taxis or maybe renting a scooter as long as you're not going too far. And thirdly, I'd say public transport.
Okay, mate. So the next one, breakfast. I'm a big on breakfast. I love a breakfast.
We love a brekkie, mate, don't we?
We do love a long breakfast. Best places for breakfast. Yeah.
Also, we go to Cool Cafe, which is close in Ibiza town, and in Santa Eulalia, there's a place called Croissant Show. And that's really famous because it's that fresh bread, freshly brewed coffee. Yeah, freshly brewed coffee. They're very good at the coffees. And it's not expensive either. So that kind of late to mid-morning breakfast is a speciality in Ibiza, and you'll always find somewhere to.
That was going to be my next question, actually, just for myself, like the best coffee, because I do like coffee.
Yeah, no, the coffee's becoming a really specialist place. There's a place in San Antonio called the Melbourne Cafe, right? Melbourne Cafe, and I must tell you about it because I'm not a coffee drinker, right? I'm a herbal tea drinker, as you can see, right?
Yeah.
And Melbourne Coffee Shop, they do an amazing all my friends go there. They just rave about the coffee. Specialist in coffee. It's only open in the morning, so it's not an all day place, whatever. It specialises in delicious breakfast, but especially in coffees, and it's for nothing, mate. €2-3, you get an amazing coffee. So Melbourne Cafe is the one I'll go for on the coffee.
€2-3 is bloody cheap for a coffee now.
Yeah, no, it's really good, mate. And as I say, I'm not a coffee drinker, mate. You are. I know you love your coffee, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I do. See, mate, you've alluded to it a couple of times, and I'm sure that regular people that go to Ibiza will know this, but for people that maybe their first time, and I don't know Ibiza at all, when you say like you got San Antonio, you got Ibiza town, and there was another place that you keep mentioning. What are the general differences of if people are going, well, where do we stay? Do we stay in the
Yeah.
town? Do we stay in San Antonio? What's the difference?
You're not just a pretty face, Elliot, because that's a really good question. Okay. Well, you are a pretty face as well as we know, but you've got. So let's just break it down. You've got San Antonio, which is had the reputation for youngsters, but now is kind of breaking out from that. In fact, I've just written a blog today about it, which I'm sure will go down well. And you've got San Antonio Bay as well. So you know where we stayed last year? We've got San Antonio Bay. So you've got that whole area there. It used to be youngsters, but it's quite a mixture now as well. Going over to Ibiza town, which is a capital of the island, quite cultural. Next door to that, you've got Playa Bossa with all the big fancy hotels there, which is where the best club in the world, or the voted the best club in the world is. So you've got a really good selection of hotels there, top end, mid range in Playa Bossa. You've got a lot of options if you want to stay there. Now, if you want to go north, you've got Santa Eulalia, Escanar, Caleyonga, Portonax, San Juan. Very quiet, very family orientated. You know, if you're looking for a lively holiday, don't go there because it's not going to tick your box. But if you're looking for a relaxed, quiet, maybe a bit of away from it all, but still on a beautiful island, then just go to the north of the island because it's absolutely spectacular. Beaches, hotels, restaurants. It's got everything up there as well. So really, it's got something for everybody.
So say you had a group of girls. Let's use a group of girls in their 40s going out to Ibiza, and they're going to stay at the north of the island, but they want to have a couple of wild nights out and cross over. What are we talking distance wise in terms of getting in the cab? How long is that going to take them?
Well, don't forget, mate. It's only Ireland's only 20 by 25, so you're never more than maybe 25 minutes in a taxi away from anywhere. So, you know, I have a lot of friends of mine who stay in San Antonio, but they often go to Nikki Beach in Santa Eulalia and get the taxi over there, which is about 25 minutes away. And it's about 35, 40 euros in a cab, so 10 euros ahead. So if there's four of you in a cab, you say group of girls, group of guys, you probably never pay more than 10 euros in a cab to go anywhere, which is really good value. You know, getting around the island is no problem.
Okay, so you can look to stay somewhere else, but still come in. That sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, some people want to just get away from it all, but they just want to come in and party and then go back and relax.
Yeah. So best day venue, mate, in terms of like, because now the long lunch, because that's what I was going to ask you about the long lunches thing. I know what you're going to say, but the long lunches thing, I'm sure there's groups of people going, well, are they doing the bottomless Prosecco yet?
Yeah.
Have they started that out there? I do like a good breakfast. I love a long lunch that sort of heads into the early evening. So where's the best place for that?
Yeah, I mean they do. They are starting it, Elliot, but they're not the cooler and classier places. They're more stag and hens, mate. Yeah. So I mean, really, unless you're on a stag and hen, we're talking about midlife people, middle-aged people, people similar age to us. So I would always recommend, there's several options. In Playa Bossa, you've got like Tannic Beach, which is a really cool beach. You can have lunch there as well. You're on the beach. That's good fun. Obviously, O Beach, my favourite, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
And yours as well. And definitely Paul's favourite as well.
Yeah,
Paul Edwards' favourite for sure. That does like a really good fun day out. Everyone thinks it's young, and I think it can be peak season, but low season it's really mixed. But really, for me, the long lunch in Ibiza is what it's all about. And I'll go Calabasa Beach Club where we've been.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Which is my favourite. Go over to Formentera, Besso Beach there as well. You've got Sacaletta, which I go to quite regularly, which is near the airport. They do an amazing long lunch there. Just sit down and watch the world go. Well, watch the people go by and drinks. And again, somewhere when you come over, you'll absolutely love that because it's very Spanish. You've got Cala Salada restaurant. You have a long lunch there. A long lunch in England's probably an hour. A long lunch in Spain is 5 hours.
Yeah.
So you sit down at 2 and you're probably not going to get up till 7. So, it's you sit down and you have your 4 or 5 courses and your 4 or 5 bottles of wine. And before you know it, just chatting away and it's sunset, mate. So
it's sunset time.
Yeah, no, that's what for me Ibiza is all about. Now, I'm a daytime person, Alan. I'm not really nocturnal, but I'm a daytime person. I'm up at 6 and 7 every morning and pretty much in bed by midnight at the very latest. So long lunches, mate, it's what it's all about.
So okay, so we go for a long lunch, come out of the long lunch, and we're going to go for like that first pre-drink before maybe you head off out afterwards. Where to go? Where would you go for those sort of first pre-drinks? Like a nice little bar, watching the sunset. Where to go for that?
Well, I go to Mint Lounge, which is next to Cafe Mambo, yeah? And I'll tell you why, because Cafe Mambo is world famous. It's quite touristy, and I get that. And it's expensive, or no, let me say, it's not cheap, should I say, sorry.
Yeah,
They'll tell me off for that. Next door to it, it's owned by Mambo Group as well, but right next door is Mint Lounge, yeah? It's a little bit more laid back, a little bit of an older crowd. It's a little bit more reasonably priced. And it's just cooler for me. It's cooler for my age group. It's cooler. So what I love about Mint Lounge is that you get all the value of Mambo, because you can see Mambo 50 meters away. You can see what's happening. You hear the music, but you're a little bit more removed. You can see the amazing sunset. The service is fantastic. The drinks are great. And I'd always go to Mint Lounge. And if I'm ever meeting anyone for the first time, I'll always say, let's meet at Mint Lounge. I don't even want a table right at the front, mate, because that's a little bit too boxed in. At the bar, just there's a few little tables there. Sit there, you can walk around, take your pictures of your sunset, speak to everybody. It's just an amazing place to be.
okay, so heading off into the evening, we're looking at sort of.
No, I'm heading to bed after the sunset.
Yeah, you say you're going to bed. You never went to bed.
But I'm trying to go to bed, but keep getting dragged back.
So if you missed a long lunch and you were going to go out for dinner, let's say, because I know there were a couple of absolutely fantastic restaurants there that you said sort of like they're a small mortgage to eat at, and they're an experience. But what are like the three best places to eat on the island? Would you say?
I mean that's subjective, mate. The places, the places that I like to eat is a different matter. So
Yeah.
it's funny because probably my favourite restaurant on the island is Casa Thai, right? Which is a Thai restaurant. It's very local, very Spanish. You can get a menu of the day for €15. Yeah, so 15 quid. You get a 3-course with a drink. The most delicious food. It's nothing smart, nothing fancy. You're in and out in maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, but just a really great place to eat. That's my kind of place where, I like long lunches, but I don't like long dinners as well because I get tired in the evening. So I like that. Dinner wise, there's one thing that Ibiza's really come on over the last, I'd say, not even 10 years, I'd say 5 years, is that the culinary offers now and the cuisine is just out of this world. And I know you're a foodie, El,
Yeah.
and it's just wonderful options. It doesn't have to cost a fortune either. So there are restaurants out there where I'd say the rule of thumb for a good restaurant in Ibiza is probably 100 quid a head, right? These days, 100 quid a head for a good restaurant. But you can eat now. I mean, I've told you about Kasai for 15 quid a head, but you can eat now at good local restaurants for about 50 quid a head. You can have a great meal. You know what I mean? So there's just amazing restaurants. You've got Sacapaya in San Antonio. There's another place called, I'll come back to you in a minute. I went there the other day. I can't forget it. I went to Rincon de Pepe the other day in San Antonio. On the other side of the island, there's a tapas restaurant, very Spanish, which I love, called Caixo, because I love local tapas. That's really local. It's a very Spanish place to go to, with the locals. But just hanging out. If you want to really push the boat out, you can do it. But I like to eat locally and good food.
So what is seen as, two questions. One, what is seen as like the top restaurant on the island by not necessarily you, but perceived as like the top restaurant to go to?
Yeah.
And what would you say is the most, because I prefer like the authentic Spanish places. And what would be a really good authentic Spanish place?
Well, the top restaurant on the island, you'd have to go with El Dragon, which is not a million miles away from where I live, and it's a Michelin-starred restaurant. And it got its Michelin star, I think, 2 years ago, and it's maintained it. It's not really for me, Al, because Michelin-starred restaurants are an experience, aren't they? They're not really sit down and have delicious food. So that's probably arguably your top restaurant. You're probably looking at 250, €300 per person. You got Madunia, I think, is a new restaurant, or I'm not sure how you say it, Madunia, which is a really smart restaurant as well. I went there at the end of last season, and again, about 150, €200 a head. It's really smart Mediterranean food, views out as well. But literally, if you Google it, go on TripAdvisor, there's just so much options there as well. But I say I eat locally, I eat good food. I don't like being ripped off, El. I don't like being ripped off. Sometimes you go to the tourist traps that you hear all the good things about. Uh, as a local, I live here, so it's different for me. I begrudge, spending lots of money on not. I don't mind spending fortunes on fantastic food, but I begrudge spending a lot of money on reasonable food.
So where would you say like a really good, authentic sort of Spanish place where the local? Because I think that's a barometer for me. It's always where the locals are eating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good.
The funny thing about Ibiza, it's almost a two-tier system, right? So you've got the tourist places and you've got locals places. And the tourist places are the ones that are expensive, as you say, 100, 150 quid a head. And the locals places are really, half that, if not less. So we do a lot of menu of the days over here where you get like, menu a day for 15, 16 quid or something like that, three courses. But I would probably recommend going to somewhere which is somewhere in between, which is tourists, but you have, locals as well. There's quite a few restaurants on the island which really cater for that as well. So I'm trying to think of a few names, but my memory seems to have gone this morning. It must have been that all day session in Ocean Beach has
Opening parties have started. The opening parties have already started.
No, yeah. No, it was there. Let me get you. There's a place up near where I live. Well, my house is as well, which is a really great restaurant, and I'm going to tell you the name of it now. Hold on. What's the restaurant name? I always forget it. I'll come back to you in a minute. I can't. I'm so vibed by it. I can't even remember what it was called. There you go. Sosocca. There you go. I've just got it. Sosocca. Again, restaurant just on the way out of San Antonio towards San Jose. Again, 50 quid a head, you'll eat like a king, and it's delicious. And I went to another local restaurant the other day, which I'll tell you about, which is called Can Cosme in Santa Ynez. Again, a very Spanish local restaurant. Had lamb in the oven, amazing tortilla, and again, about 35 quid a head. And somewhere, as a foodie, mate, you'd absolutely love it.
Definitely, mate. Getting on to what most people go to Ibiza for, maybe not so much in sort of like the midlife, but we're going to look at nights out. I know there's 101 nights out that you're always saying that we can go everywhere. But I only want a couple, so I want the best age appropriate night out if you're sort of 40s, maybe late 30s, 40s and above. And I also want a completely inappropriate age night out, but you'll have a great laugh doing it.
Well, the best place, I think, the best age appropriate place on the island for our age group is Pikes. Now, Pikes was famous because it was where Wham shot the Club Tropicana video. It's owned by the Ibiza Rocks group, and it's just a really cool place to hang out. It's free to get in, guest list only, so you're not paying ridiculous money on the door. It's got a garden area, it's got a courtyard, it's got a club area as well. And everyone I've taken there, I know I took you there, El, as well.
Yeah, I like it.
Absolutely love the place. They're just blown away by it. So, we're talking about age appropriate. I think Pikes for me is probably the most age appropriate. And it's gone like the last few years, it's gone like that. You know why it's gone like that, El? Because more older people are coming to Ibiza and everyone wants to go to Pikes.
Yeah, it reminded me of like a 90s club back in the day that sort of near me, there used to be a place called the Country Club that everyone used to go to.
Is that Epping?
Epping Forest Country Club.
Yeah, I know that, mate. I went there a couple of times myself back in the day.
Yeah, and it reminded me of that. But I say, when you say get a sort of free to get in guest list.
Yeah, so what they do is you check the night and you just go onto their website and just put your name on the guest list. It's very easy.
Okay, because a lot of people otherwise, like myself probably, would just turn up and then...
No, you can't do it. You can't. Well, you can if you know know the right people, but no, it's really easy. I've got some friends. It's funny actually. I've got a group of girls coming over on a 50th birthday party next week, and they said to me, "Put me on the guest list." I said, "No, listen, just go online and just put your names down." They text me. I said, "Yeah, we put 6 of us online, guest list, job done." So it's just easier that way, But
great little tip.
And also, you're not paying. If you go to High, listen, High's the voted the best club in the world, but some of the clubs now are €100 to get in, right?
No.
Yeah, I know. 100. That's just to get through the door, right? And they're just about to open a super. Well, it's called a hyper club universe, just about to open on the island, which we could do a whole podcast on ourselves. And, the tickets to that, the early bird tickets are 100 and something euros to get in. So to go somewhere like Pikes and get in as a guest list kind of free entry, it's just an amazing place. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not the cheapest drinks in the world, but they're not the most expensive either. So you can enjoy yourself.
It's a little bit dressy as well, isn't it? People make an effort when they go there.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart casual, It's smart casual. You don't want to look like a tramp, but you don't want to look like a queen either.
So the most not age-appropriate place, but you'll have a great laugh doing it.
Probably Ibiza Rocks Hotel.
Oh, God, that was like Butlins, wasn't it? I remember going there, yeah.
Well, it's just young. It's students, mate. So Ibiza. So my guilty pleasure is Craig David at Ibiza Rocks. There you go. There's my guilty pleasure, because we all know a bit of Craig David, yeah?
Yeah.
And Ibiza Rocks is very studenty. It's probably 18 to 25, yeah? So 30 years younger than, in some cases, nearly 40 years younger than us, Elliot, right? But it's such a great vibe. It's a really guilty pleasure of mine. It's not ridiculous drinks either. So you have a few drinks, watch Craig David, have a bit of a boogie, and it's all done by 9 o'clock, which is perfect for me. Got home for 9 o'clock.
Okay, so coming on to the last question, just wanted to ask you, obviously Ibiza is known for its nights out and all the other stuff that Ibiza is known for, but if there were sort of 2 or 3 things on the island that people would never do, but like the locals would always know and go, did you not do that? You should have done that. What would they be?
Well, that's a really good question, mate. I think going to, it's probably more popular now than ever before, but I would say watching the sunset at Esvedra, yeah. Esvedra is the big triangular shaped rock on the west coast. I think that's a very Ibiza moment. It's busy now, but still not a lot of people don't do it. I would say go to Formentera. I would say you might think it's difficult, but I would go, because when you get to Formentera, you can literally walk to the beaches. It's such a small island, and it's like the Caribbean, Elliot. I think that's an absolute gem that. You might think it's it's a bit too much hassle, but it's not. You go to Ibiza.
And what's that, a ferry ride?
Yeah, it's a 30-minute ferry ride, mate. Jump on the ferry, but they drop you off in the port, and you can walk to the beaches there as well.
Where would you get the ferry from, mate?
You get the ferry from Ibiza town. Yeah, you can go from the west coast, but it has to go all the way round. So it's easy to get the bus or get the bus to Ibiza town, which is a really good connection. Go to the ferry, and everyone, I like to rent a bike over. Believe it or not, go over there, rent bikes for the day, bicycles, yeah, or a scooter, and it just blows your mind because it's a million miles away from anywhere else that you'll go, and it's just an absolute gem. So I'd always recommend trying to take in Formentera. So we've done a sunset, we've done a day out, and I would say a long, lazy lunch at one of the local Spanish beaches.
Okay, mate. And the last thing, because one of the best days that I had was the Calabasas beach that we went to. So just for a group of guys or a group of girls, how much would it be, let's say, and how to do it, to go, right, we're going to get a small boat out for the day.
Yeah.
Whether they can drive or they need a driver, and then we can go to 2 or 3 of these places that you mentioned, like leave at 10 o'clock in the morning and get back at whatever time at night.
Yeah.
How would you go about organising all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the most. It used to be quite exclusive, but now most people do it. Now to rent a boat for 4 hours is about, I don't know, about €100 a head, something like that. 100 quid a head, something like that.
Is that with a driver?
With a driver, yeah. You want a driver, really. You can get the smaller boats for maybe 200 quid for a few hours, but they only take 4. So if you want to have a relaxing day, maybe 6 or 7, you get a boat, probably about 100 quid a head if there's a group of you, and then book a beach restaurant, go for lunch on the beach. Again, another maybe 100 quid a head if you want to really go for it as well. But it doesn't have to be that. So I think for maybe 200, 250 quid for the day, you could have an amazing day on a boat and have lunch as well, which sounds a lot, but when you think about it, really, it's just a terrific way to spend your time, and just a really different vibe than maybe the clubs and the bars in Ibiza town or San Antonio.
Okay, mate. Actually, one last question, because it's just coming in my head. I'm winging this one. I do like a nice glass of wine, and I do find that when you go away, you look at the wine list and you've got no idea what the local wines are. Good local wines, or what would you recommend, sort of the wines there?
No, the wine. We're blessed in Spain with great wines. Yeah, Rioja wine, Ribera del Duero. those wines. We've been drinking a lot of Albarino lately, which is a very
Yeah, I like that.
dry white wine. I've got some friends over. We drink. And if you go to the supermarkets, quick tip, if you want to watch sunset or like that, and you just go supermarkets, you can get good local wines for very little, like Muga. Muga is one of my favourite Rosados, and the expensive French wine, yeah, a Muga. I prefer Muga. It's a Rosada, a rosé wine, and it costs about £9 a bottle, £10 a bottle, like that. And that's from the local supermarkets. In the restaurants, obviously a little bit more money, but I would always go, and the restaurants over there always go Rioja or Ribera del Duero. Stay local. Don't buy your ridiculous £50 or £60 a bottle. For about £20 a bottle in a restaurant, you can get a really good bottle of wine.
Brilliant. Listen, mate, I've really enjoyed this, and I think there's so much. You're so knowledgeable. You should be, because you've lived there for so long.
Yeah. 35 years, mate. You know what it's like.
And I think for anyone that's going out there this year, there's some great places to go, because that's one of the things. I always find that when you go on holiday, you'll go for a week, and by the time you get to the 6th day, you kind of start enjoying it because you know the way around the island. So I think for me, there's some great tips there.
Yeah, what you said at the start, mate, I think 3 or 4 days you can easily do. But the one thing I would say to people is, don't be overly organised, yeah, because everyone comes over and go, right, we're doing that on Monday, we're doing that on Tuesday, we're doing that on Wednesday, we're doing that on Thursday. And you go, well, hold on a minute. What if I say to you, well, why don't you go to that restaurant? They go, oh, no, we can't because we booked something else.
Yeah.
Get local knowledge, be spontaneous. It is really very important in Ibiza, because if you're too rigid, you're not going to see the real island. You're not going to see the real side of it. So don't be too rigid. Book a few things in by all means, what we talked about, but also just keep it a bit fluid, because things can go a little bit strange in Ibiza.
Yeah. But I do think, though, mate, when I know you're saying about being spontaneous, but you can only do that if you've got the knowledge to do it.
Yeah, no, but also you meet people. What you do, you meet people and they go, well, listen, we're not going there, we're going here. Do you want to join us? When you're meeting people all the time, you're sharing ideas and you're doing things together as well. And also another little tip, especially for the older crowd: come in April, come in May, come in September, come in October, because that's where you'll see the real island. July, August. Listen, forget it. I know you have to come because you're a teacher, else, so you have to come at certain times. But you've got Easter and you've got your October half term as well. Come out of season, because then you'll find the real Ibiza. Peak season, it's all over you and it's so busy. But low season is where it's at for me.
Yeah, I wish I'd have come at Easter, actually, mate. But listen, buddy, I know you've got a busy day ahead of you. I really appreciate your time. I've really enjoyed this. So,
Pleasure,
guys,
mate.
thank you for watching 50 Shades of Grey. Make sure you subscribe and follow. And I'm going to put the links for Martin on there as well. Go on and look at his blogs and look at his videos, because if you're going to the island, about the island, there's some really interesting stuff on there, which is great. But take care, catch up. See you soon.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
buddy. Great to see you, Al.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Stay there, mate. That was really good, mate.